Hey, welcome everyone to our first live stream of our micro sessions for GamiCon48V. I'm Monica Cornetti, and I am the President, Chief Engagement Officer of Sententia Gamification. And with me today is Jonathan Peters. He's our Chief Motivation Officer. So we just wanted to welcome you to these pre-conference micro sessions and give you an overview of what you can expect each day. So the one thing you can expect is that they're not going to be at the same time every day, because just like GamiCon48V, we are scheduling it so that the speakers are actually speaking in their prime time. So if you've worked with a global audience, like if you've worked with employees who are across the globe, like I know we have Barbara Maroney on and Mary Trankel from an organization where their team is literally across the globe. So they're used to getting up at like 2 a.m. to do meetings just like their employees are. And for GamiCon, we wanted to give the speakers a break and the participants a break by running it in their prime time. So we are starting Sunday night, February 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. And we start with which group, Jonathan? Australia is our first speakers?
We have one in the US and then we go to Australia.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So I asked Amy Chase Martin to kick it off for us here in the US, and then we'll be going to Australia. So what we'll be doing is going around the globe 2 times. So we go 48 hours straight. Now, do we expect you to be on 48 hours straight? No. Do you get any extra bonus for being on 48? I don't think so, because I don't think it's healthy. But we will have it all recorded. And then our team is working behind the scene to get those recordings up just as quickly as we can after the sessions run live. So as a GamiCon attendee, registrant, you get access to those recordings for a full 9 months. And insider scoop, if you need it after that, you just reach out to myself or Jonathan and we can make it happen for you. But we keep them up there in the live platform for you to access those recordings for 9 months. So we are delighted that this is our 3rd annual year for doing this. And we started not by choice, but because, of course, we went into shutdown, and it was the only way to stay connected with other designers just like you across the globe who we wanted to meet, who are doing great and fascinating work with gamification. So now we're on our 3rd annual. This will be our biggest event, and we are delighted that we've got a fantastic lineup of speakers. So if you can see Jonathan's office wall, he's got in front of him a timeline that goes across 2 24-hour timelines where he's mapped out the speakers. So Jonathan, give us an idea about I'd like to talk about like the geosensitive pricing that you're doing this year and making it available to people across the globe, that it's really it's equitable. And if we're going to be a truly global conference, I think that what you've designed for this is, we can't do a truly global conference without it. So talk with us about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, because that was the thing, if you take $300 in US, USD, that's extremely expensive for someone, let's say in India, or you got folks coming in from Nigeria. Egypt, especially right now, I'm having to relook at it because they've had so much inflation since I started the pricing that it may not be unaffordable for them. And then instead of US dollars, and which then there's all the conversion rates and all those issues on the participant standpoint, what we've done is moved it over to their currency. So to use India as the example, it'd be in rupees. And Argentina would be in their peso, and so on, so that it makes it equitable for people in different countries. Because that's the idea, is we don't want people excluded just because their country has a bad exchange rate with the US. Because that's where the conversation is happening. We want them involved in the conversation as well.
Right, exactly. And remember, what goes around comes around. So if that ever flips with the conversion rate, remember that it's a great thing to do to be geosensitive. I wanted to bring up the website so that I could just show you just the scope of the speakers. Now, if you've not been to GamiCon before, of course, it's 100% gamified. Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Bernardo Latafe. He's the founder, the evil mind behind, the genius behind Blue Rabbit, which is the platform that we use to gamify the conference. And in that platform, we'll give you a video to show you how to get into it, but it'll fully engage you with the content and the speakers. And he'll be talking a bit about that tomorrow. But one of the things that we do is we hold it on a platform called Remo. And I'm going to just zoom in here for a second. In Remo, this is what your floor plan will look like. It is this in. So our theme this year is Leaders and Legends. And you actually get to experience the in. So when you come into the platform, you'll actually be sitting at one of these tables with 5 other people. So there's 6 people at every table. Because of the number of people that will be coming here, will be on different floors. The floor plans look the same on floor 2 as it does on floor 1. So you'll recognize that. But it's a really nice way to feel like you're in a live environment, sitting with people at a table. You can move tables when you want to, as long as there's an open chair, you just move over, you double click on that chair, and you'll hear a little, if you're sitting at the table, you'll hear a little knock, knock. You'll hear a little knock, knock at your door that somebody's coming in. So it's just a fantastic platform for engagement and interaction. And of course, the speakers will be there before and after their sessions. There's a lounge area where you can hang out and ask the speakers questions. We'll have gamification master craftsmen who serve as champions at the event. So they're there to help you. We've got producers and tech assistants. So if you're having any kind of technology challenges, we've got you covered. So even though it's a different platform than what you might be accustomed to, it's the same, just different, right? You'll pick it up very quickly. So what I do want you to know is that we have 2 schedules that you can download. One is in the USA time zones with Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific listed. There's also one for the rest of the globe who uses a different form of time that is in a 24-hour format, and it's based on Greenwich Mean Time. There's a calculator there that you can calculate and it'll create your time inside that schedule. And so these are just some of the speakers that we have, and you can see the countries that are represented. So we have over, I think it's 72 speakers right now, and they come from 26 different countries. We have speakers from every continent except Antarctica, and we are just delighted by the variety of what they do. So some people are doing design, some people do research, some people have platforms, some people are doing face-to-face, low tech, people are doing fully immersive virtual reality. Some people have worked in like Fortune 5 companies. Some have done smaller 100 people type gamification, higher education. And so I was talking about our speakers. So go out there, when you click on their picture, it'll take you to their back page that will tell you about their bio and their session. So you can find all the information. Mary gave us a wonderful idea of creating it so that you can click on it and put it in your calendar. I think it's an excellent idea, and we're going to look at making that happen. Love that, Mary. And we love when people give us ideas like that we're like, all right, let's see how we can do it.
Cool,
ask the right
thanks.
question. Yeah, ask the right questions, you can get the right answers, right? So because we've got 48 hours and there's all these fantastic, talented, creative geniuses across the globe who are doing gamification, and because it's just a time constraint, we couldn't fit all the speakers in that we wanted to have as part of the regular session. So I get a brainy idea of let's do pre-con micro sessions. So that's what we're starting tonight. So every day from now through the 25th of February, when we kick off, the main event on the 26th, we'll be interviewing other gamification designers, gurus, researchers, implementers, and we'll be doing just these brief micro sessions. So what I want you to notice is that under their picture is the date they're speaking, and these are in chronological order. And then the time they're speaking each day will change. So like on the 3rd, I'll be interviewing Hanshika at 8 a.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing Antonio's at 11 a.m. And then Sunday, I'm interviewing Zach who at 11 p.m. So these times are going to vary every day based on where the speaker is. But if you are a registered participant of GamiCon48V, don't worry if you don't catch the live, because we'll get the recording up for you right away, so you can always access that recording. You can come in through YouTube live, you can watch it live stream on YouTube, or you can come in through Zoom, where we can be keeping an eye more on the chat and interactions, whichever you prefer works for us. So these are just a sampling of the speakers. Now, we are flying to Training Magazine Conference and Expo in Orlando next Wednesday. We'll be doing a pre-conference session, and then we'll be in the expo hall and leading the game track. So we have our friends and colleagues who will be at the conference, and we'll be interviewing them live from the expo hall that week. So that's why there's no set times here, but as we get there and we get our schedules clear, we'll get those times up so you know exactly when they're happening. And we just keep going through till the 25th, and then our kickoff is the night of February 26th. The main question that I asked our micro session pre-conference speakers to think about is, what is one thing that every chief learning officer or training manager or instructional designer who's ever wanting to bring gamification, game-based learning, gamified learning into their programs, what is one thing that they should know about gamification? And so that'll be one question that I'll be asking them in each interview. But they'll also be talking about the work that they're doing. We're going to keep them short, just 15, 20 minutes. Tomorrow might be a little bit longer because it's Roman Rockwitz and Bernardo Latape will be doing it together. So it might be a little bit longer. But I think, like, if I were to answer that question, what is one thing that I think every chief learning officer should know? And that is that there needs to be a balance of fun and education. So inside of corporate across the globe right now, we're in this time of huge transition where employees are leaving us. Employees aren't staying long enough to get time to competency, to get competent in a position before they leave. And research shows us that the more that we're willing to invest in them to help them be successful in their role within the organization, the more engaged they will be and likely to stay with us. And one of the primary areas to show that you really care about your employees is to make sure that they're getting professional development, not boring, stick a pencil in my eye, screen after screen after screen of like black words on a white page. There needs to be an element of fun and engagement. It needs to be part of a whole culture of learning and continual development. So gamification, game-based learning, it's not the solution for everything, although I think that everything could have gamified elements to it. It should be part of a bigger picture. But the main thing that we want to be answering is, what do our team members need to be successful? How can we help them to be successful? And how can we make sure that learning sticks? And if that means turning it into something more game-like, then it's our responsibility to do that. And let me give you an example, because I was working on it this week. I needed to do a section for a course I'm designing that was describing the difference between inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. And as I start looking at the research of how you demonstrate inductive reasoning, you provide the student with a set of data like sales figures, ask the student to use inductive reasoning to analyze the data and make inferences, instruct the student to create a visual representation. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. How can I ask somebody else to do this? So then I thought, well, why don't we make this more adventurous? Why don't they become something like a data detective? So now they have a mystery that needs to be solved, and they are a data detective. So as they look through this information, they're trying to solve this mystery. And as they go through the steps that are necessary, they're getting closer to solve that mystery. What if I can give them like a case closed certificate or some kind of detective badge at the end? Just think about how it's the exact same material, but by adding that just that short narrative, just that idea of, well, let's become detectives and solve this mystery. How much more did I want to become engaged with that program just by putting on a detective hat rather than reading, provide the student with a set of data. Again, stick a pencil in my eye, kill me now because I don't want to do it. So it's your job as chief learning officer, training manager, instructional designer, curriculum developer, whatever your role is, it's your job to make sure that corporate training, higher education is engaging so that your learners can learn something so they can do something with it. So let's bring the fun. Let's add that component of fun. That's an idea of what we'll be talking about in these micro sessions. Jonathan, what am I missing? Are you there?
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you? Anything else?
We'll get these recordings up for those of you who've registered. They will appear if you go to sententiagamification.com and then up in the upper right-hand corner is where you can log in. If you click on that, it'll take you to your library, and this is sitting in your library, and the recordings will be hosted there along, and that's where the recordings, as we go through GamiCon 48V, the recordings will be housed there as well. You'll see all the speakers listed, but there's no recordings there yet, obviously. So,
all right, this will be the first one. So if you haven't registered yet, you need to get registered. You can use GamiMaster 100, that's my code, and you can save $100 on your registration. Each one of the speakers has a code too. So if you are from their country, want to register in your currency, reach out to that speaker and they'll give you their discount code that you can use to register in your currency and get a 25% discount. This is an event that you don't want to miss. It'll be fully 100% gamified, which you're going to get, just enjoy and have so much fun actually experiencing a player journey as you're learning about gamification. So thank you for joining us for this first kickoff session. I'll be back here each day and I'll actually be interviewing each of the speakers in the micro sessions. Again, we'll keep them short, give you some insight of what you can do for your programs. And we're just delighted that you chose to spend time with us. And we hope to see you at GamiCon 48V. Thanks so much.